The Rudy Gobert trade might go down as one of the biggest failures as far as NBA trades go in recent history. So far, I can't think of one thing that's positive that that would excite Timberwolves fans. Rudy Gobert has not looked good at the center position. He's clogged up the lanes for everybody on the team. Now, personally, I think twin towers or double centers in this NBA can work in the right situation. We've seen it with Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins for a short sample size. I think when you have two 7-footers that can do multiple things on the floor and are kind of interchangeable, that works. But in this instance, it does not work. Putting Cat at the 4 exposes him tremendously on the defensive end. Cat was already not a good defender at the center, and now you put him at the 4, which a lot of teams go small and put 6'8", 6'9" quicker guys at the 4 position, and you expect him to guard them. It's not going to happen. He's always been horrible defensively, and I don't know what the front office was thinking when they thought he was going to be able to hold that position down defensively. Rudy Gobert is a great defensive player, but he is not covering up that many mistakes. If you've watched any Timberwolves games this season, just just pay close attention to Karl Anthony Towns and everything they do. They are picking him out in every situation. Pick and roll. They're bringing up Karl Anthony Towns guy. In any situation, they're attacking him because he's the weak link on the defensive end. Also, the addition of Rudy Gobert, like I said, clogs up the paint for everybody on this team, including Anthony Edwards. I think he has like one dunk on the entire season, which shows he has no space to get to the rim. It's kind of like the same thing with LeBron and Anthony Davis not being able to get to the paint for the Lakers. When you don't have shooters around you, when you don't have the floor spacing, there is no lanes for you to actually get to the rim. Everybody is clogging the paint. They're not going to let you in there. There just is no way to get there. Now, last year when Cat was at the 4, was at the 5, and you had more shooters spaced around, there was the ability to get to the paint because you had to stretch all the way out and get the Cat. That is no longer there. Now, I'm not just gonna pick on Rudy Gobert. There is another player that I really, really want to focus on, and I think that he's just as much at fault for what's going on as Rudy Gobert, and that's D'Angelo Russell. He has been, for lack of a better term, he's been horrible. He has been absolutely horrible this season. He shot 38% from the field, and 31% from the three. He's averaging 3 turnovers a game, and literally tonight he finished with 4 points. 4 points in the game tonight against Memphis. I understand that it was like a 1-2 punch when he first got there with Cat, and Anthony Edwards has kind of taken some shots away from him. But 38% is insane. I don't care how many shots you're getting. If you're a starter playing 30 plus minutes and you're shooting 38% from the field, you are hurting your team tremendously. You have to get in the summer and work on your shot. I thought D'Angelo Russell was a halfway decent shooter, especially a spot up, swing type, type shooter. He has not been that. I thought D'Angelo Russell he's labeled as a facilitator, a good passer. That's what he was coming out of college. I haven't seen that either. This team desperately needs a point guard that is going to get them organized and get them in the spots where they need to be, and get guys the ball like Rudy Gobert who can't create their own offense. He should be getting a few lobs a game going to Rudy Gobert, and you don't see that. He should be able to get Cat open shots. He should be able to get Anthony Edwards easy buckets, and he just has not done that. I really hope that they look into trading him, whether it's at the trade deadline or in this off season, because he just does not fit on this team. I think if you put different pieces around the rest of these players, like Cat and Rudy Gobert and Anthony Edwards, I mean, either way, you're stuck with Rudy at this point. Nobody's gonna trade you anything of value for him. So that three right there is kind of set in stone. But D'Angelo Russell has to get traded for pieces that fit around these guys better. I'm thinking they wouldn't trade him, but if they can get like a Tyus Jones from the Grizzlies, I think that would be a perfect fit. Now, obviously, it's not straight up, but someone of that caliber where they're going to be able to get you in your offense and they're going to be efficient enough with the shots that they do get and not turn the ball over, which is another key point. All right, so the next thing I wanted to bring up is they don't really have a bona fide number one on this team. Personally, I think it should be Anthony Edwards. I think Cat still thinks that that's him, but I don't think that anybody knows for sure. Like we just saw Paul George a couple days ago, come out and say this is Kawhi Leonard's team. I am the number two. Now, I'm not saying they have to come out and publicly say that, but I think it should be evident on the court who is the number one and who is the number two. And right now, I think that confusion is causing some friction in the locker room. You hear Karl Anthony Towns is calling out Anthony Edwards. You hear Anthony Edwards is taking some shots at Karl Anthony Towns. Now, do I think that they, have actual beef? No, but I do think that they're frustrated based on the on-court product. I do think that they're frustrated, and that's causing them to kind of have these little back and forth shots at each other in the press conferences. So the final thing that I'm going to leave with on this video is, in hindsight, I really think this team should have traded for DeJounte Murray instead of Rudy Gobert. They clearly had the assets. They clearly had what it would have taken to facilitate a trade. And I think that would have alleviated a lot of their problems they currently have. I think Cat, while he's not a great rim protector, I think he's a serviceable enough rim protector, and it would not have, made him susceptible to like having to guard all of these quick, fast, athletic guys on the perimeter, which we've seen that he just cannot. It would have allowed him to stay more in the paint where he's a little more comfortable defensively. And I think DeJounte Murray's defense on the wing would have, helped in that department. I feel like not just as much, but I think it would have had a similar impact that they were looking for from Rudy Gobert. And I think that would have helped with who is it, D'Angelo Russell being able to play a little more off the ball, kind of how you see DeJounte Murray and Trae Young working right now. If Trae Young doesn't have it going, or if he doesn't have a good matchup, he can kind of give it to DeJounte Murray. Or there was a game that Trae Young went out and DeJounte Murray closed it out. He does a lot of things, and not just stat sheet things. He does a lot of little things that I think would have really helped this team right now. And I think they really dropped the ball. After you see the price that they paid for Gobert and the price that the Hawks paid to get DeJounte Murray, it's honestly kind of crazy that they didn't go for him and settle for Rudy Gobert, or overpay for Rudy Gobert, I should say. But y'all get in the comments. Let me know what you think. What are your thoughts on this team? Do you think they should blow it up and trade D'Angelo Russell? Do you think they should trade Cat? I've heard that thrown around a lot. But let me hear you guys' thoughts down in the comments. Appreciate you for watching. Till next time.